tone-deaf comments to outrageous demands, here's some celebrities who have been exposed for being completely out of touch. Starting off with Oprah and The Rock. Double whammy to get us going. The 2023 wildfires that ravaged the Hawaiian island of Maui shocked and saddened the global community, with 100 casualties reported and thousands displaced, losing homes and businesses along the way. The Rock and Oprah decided to help out. His ill-fated video standing alongside Maui homeowner Oprah Winfrey caused a stir almost instantly after the mega-rich celebrity pair pleaded for the public donations of about $10 million to help rebuild the island. Oprah is worth $2.5 billion, with The Rock, trailing her just at about $800 million. So the public were very quick to point out the pair could easily just donate the $10 million between themselves. In fact, they actually could have each pledged $10 million themselves and still been millionaires and billionaires. And they also would have come across less tone deaf had they asked their rich friends for donations instead of regular folk who live paycheck to paycheck. Blake Lively is next. During the August press tour for It Ends With Us, a movie about ending the cycle of DV, Blake Lively promoted the film with a focus on floral clothing, going so far as saying grab your friends, wear your florals, and head out to see it. The actor also wore florals to a crossover event with the drinks company she founded called Betty Buzz, and she launched a new hair care line during this time. In an interview, Blake was asked the best way that people who see the movie and connect with it can speak with the actor. She jokingly replied saying, asking for my address or my phone number or location share. I could just location share with you. She went on to give a more serious response about women who see red flags and mistake them as fuchsia and cute. Meanwhile, director and star Justin Baldoni's main focus during the press tour was raising awareness of DV. On Instagram, he linked resources like No More, a nonprofit organization dedicated to ending DV. He spoke about the message of the film often, saying, "I was always thinking about the outcome and the why, and the one woman I was making this for and who would sit in that theater and maybe not go back to her toxic relationship." So the stark difference between Blake and Justin's promotion of the film sparked a lot of online chatter, with many calling Blake tone deaf, and one social media user wrote, "As a DV survivor, I am absolutely disgusted by the cutesy way this film is being promoted, like it's a rom-com, grab your girls and your florals." Another said they were appalled at Blake's initial response to Jake's question and how she turned a deep, very personal, serious question into a joke. Ellen DeGeneres is next. In September, Netflix released Ellen DeGeneres' so-called last stand-up special. The comedian spoke about being kicked out of show business because she was mean, referencing the BuzzFeed News reporting on her talk show's alleged toxic environment. She also talked about going to therapy and how she shouldn't have been the boss in the way that Ronald McDonald shouldn't be the CEO of McDonald's. Now, social media users were less than impressed. One person wrote, "It was a pity party for her during the whole special." Some called it self-indulgent, and one user said all she had to do was humbly acknowledge her words and actions hurt more than she realized and promise to learn and grow. That's it. Rather than outright disagree with allegations she was unkind to staff on her show, the comedian says her signature tagline from her talk show, which is "Be kind to one another," led to unrealistic expectations, turning her into a one-dimensional character who gave step away and danced every day up steps. Mariah Carey is up next, one of the most renowned American singers with a Guinness Book record for a 5-octave vocal range, somehow does not know what an electricity bill is. During a 2009 interview special, the interviewer told Mariah Carey that his to-do list usually includes buy eggs and pay bill. In reply, she asked, "Pay who? Bill who?" The host then responds by saying bill, like a bill, like the electricity bill. Carey's still not catching on, says, "Oh, you have to pay for that?" The host hits back with, "Yeah, we don't get it for free." While one would imagine that Mariah Carey, can't make it any worse than this, she then says, "In America, we get it for free." It ended with the host saying, "You don't, maybe you just don't feel like the money is actually coming out of your account." Now, the snippet from the throwback interview has been going viral lately, with some people saying that they think she was joking around with the host, with one person said, "I can't believe some of y'all don't understand sarcasm. She clearly is mocking him." While another person wrote, to be so stupidly rich and ignorant of the daily struggles. Next up, Larry King. While interviewing Danny Pudi in 2020, Larry King asked the community show star about the luxuries he can't live without. Danny said, "Coffee, I really like coffee." But King cuts the actor off saying, "Is that a luxury? You can get it anywhere." So Pudi brainstorms again before offering, "I like nice nice socks. So King then says, socks that you like put in your shoes? Surprised. And Putty goes, yeah, I really love them. Like, I kind of like, you know, cozy feet. He says that in defense, and he continues to add, I'm attracted to really nice running socks. Like, I'm always looking for a good pair of running socks. But King shuts down the actor again, saying, that's not a luxury. Coffee and socks are not a luxury. Throwing in the towel, Danny asks King to give him a luxury that he should have, to which King then recommends a private plane. This is when Danny, who voiced Huey on the Disney TV series DuckTales, hilariously slams the notion that he'd be flying private. Looking baffled, he says to Larry King, Larry, I'm on DuckTales. There's no private plane for me. This interview became so iconic and it was trending on social media with so many people praising Danny for just being so real and like so relatable. Jimmy Kimmel even had him on a show to discuss how he was becoming a meme, and you know, since the interview with Larry, it's been going all over like wildfire on social media. People started selling shirts with the quote. He said even his neighbor dropped off coffee and socks at his door after they watched the clip. In 2010, Dina Lohan reportedly called the police at a Carvel ice cream store that refused to give her the cake she ordered for free when she tried to pay with her daughter Lindsay's Carvel Black card. She actually said to a news blog, it just shows how we Lohans get treated so much worse than regular people. The Black card was a promotional gift that offered Lindsay free ice cream for like 75 years, but the employees confiscated it from her mother. In a statement, Carvel said, unfortunately, the Lohan family has been abusing the card. While the card was issued in Lindsay's name only, her extended family has repeatedly used the card without her present. At first, we graciously honored, you know, their requests while explaining that the Black card was not a carte blanche for unlimited Carvel ice cream for the extended Lohan family and friends. After more than 6 months of numerous and large orders for ice cream, we finally had to cut off the card and take it back. The Black card was intended for Lindsay's use only and granted her free ice cream for 75 years. Dina really thought she was too good to pay for it, and she even made a comment to say, just wait until Lindsay and Allie hear about this, as if like, you know, they would do something about it. Now, these Black cards were given out to like 75 celebrities to celebrate their 75th anniversary, and honestly, it was a great marketing move on the part of the company because, you know, every time a celebrity is photographed going into one of their stores, it's just free publicity for them, right? Next up, Kendall Jenner. Now, her cucumber chopping skills in 2022 went absolutely viral. While many found her attempts to slice a cucumber funny, the fact that Kris Jenner offered the assistance of her personal chef for this simple task made them seem even more out of touch. You know, celebrities, they're just like us, right? Well, perhaps not when it comes to basic kitchen tasks. Or maybe cucumbers are just the one food item that Kendall Jenner finds impossible to chop, who knows? And speaking of the Kardashian-Jenner gang, it's one thing to create a luxury brand, but another to inadvertently patronize, you know, the very customers who want to buy from it. Khloe Kardashian's 2019 response to a fan who mentioned having to work multiple hours to afford one pair of jeans from her brand was both tone deaf and distasteful. The fan tweeted about struggling to afford a pair of jeans from Khloe's brand Good American. At the time, you know, the garments ranged in price from roughly $99 to like $189. She tweeted, so I realized I have to work 20 hours in order to just afford at Khloe Kardashian's jeans, and I'm in love with them, catch me picking up extra shifts. Khloe actually wrote back to her saying, oh, this is like so cute, I'm so happy you enjoy them. But this like outraged several Twitter users, with one person saying someone had to work a stupid amount of hours to afford one pair of jeans. A millionaire thinks that's cute. That people have to calculate and think how many hours they have to work to afford little things. Another person said treating financial strain as cute, out of touch, doesn't even begin to cover it. Khloe might have genuinely been trying to connect with her fan and, you know, thank her for the purchase, but it could not have come off worse if she tried, honestly. To be honest, this whole video could be just about the Kardashian-Jenners because there really is like a limitless amount of cringeworthy moments, but I'll give you one more. In 2018, Kim Kardashian faced well-deserved criticism for promoting appetite suppressant lollipops on her Instagram. With many young, impressionable followers, this promotion wasn't just seen as irresponsible, but also a push towards unhealthy body image standards. She received immediate backlash, with one fan saying online, "This is disgusting. Your fans are going to be seeing this and thinking that this is how you get your body. Eating is good for you. Stop convincing people to literally starve themselves of food to get a flat tummy." Out of all her out-of-touch moments, this surely takes the cake, or should I say lollipop. The only question is, will it become more famous than her diamond earrings in the pool moment? Now, celebrating Kim's 40th birthday, the family actually flew to a private island, spending literally millions on themselves and blatantly ignoring the struggles the world was going through. Perhaps some of that cash could have gone to better use. Yet another mention for the Kardashian family, and another clear indication of just how far removed this reality family really is from reality. Now, in 2021, Demi Lovato called out a frozen yogurt shop for offering sugar-free options, claiming it was triggering for people with eating disorders. While her intention may have been to raise awareness about mental health, the move was widely criticized as being out of touch, as many people prefer or need sugar-free options for various health reasons. The Los Angeles-based eatery, which opened in 1986, is known for having more than 400 distinctive flavors using live cultures and natural ingredients. The store, which has been dubbed LA's ultimate yogurt experience, prides itself on having no sugar added, fat-free, and dairy-free varieties. After she posted a story to her Instagram expressing her bad experience, the Big Chill reacted saying, "We carry items for diabetes, celiac disease, vegan, and of course have many indulgent items as well." The former Disney Channel star clapped back, sharing screenshots of their DMs, basically saying that the company wrote to the singer saying, "We are not diet vultures. We cater to all of our customers' needs for the past 36 years. We are sorry you found this offensive." Lovato then attacked the shop's lack of service, admitting that her time there was not pleasant. She wrote, "Not just that, your service was terrible, so rude. The whole experience was triggering and awful. You can carry things for other people while also caring for another percentage of your customers who struggle daily just to even step foot in your store. You can find a way to provide an inviting environment for all people with different needs, including eating disorders, one of the deadliest mental illnesses, only second to overdoses. So don't make excuses, just do better."
Now, almost as soon as Jennifer shared a snap of herself chilling with Drake backstage at her Las Vegas show in December 2016, it was reported that the pair were dating. Now, the caption she used for the pic was, "Look who rolled up to my show tonight to say hi, #love him." Then she made another post of him giving her a bear hug and looking rather cozy, snuggling up to her. At the time though, an anonymous source told E! News that J.Lo was having fun with the rapper, but a lot of people were unsure of the nature of their relationship. But one person who fully believed they were dating at the time was Drake's on-again, off-again love interest, Rihanna. Now, according to an unnamed insider who spoke with In Touch, she felt that she had suffered the ultimate betrayal and dubbed J.Lo desperate and a traitor. It said that Rihanna and J.Lo were close and that Rihanna even confided in J.Lo about her relationship with Drake. So the fact that J.Lo turned around and did that is pretty messed up. Although Rihanna never publicly addressed the issue, she did appear to throw some major shade when in December 2016, yep, that same month, she suddenly unfollowed J.Lo on Instagram. Then there's Nicki Minaj. In 2012, Nicki performed on American Idol, where J.Lo was a judge. Now, after the rapper finished her set, she asked, "I was hoping maybe I could come back and be a guest judge. J.Lo, can you scoot over a bit?" Then J.Lo replied back, "I don't know if there's enough room for both of us." Now, not letting it go, Nicki got fired up and told the Hollywood Reporter backstage she didn't seem to be having it, but she's gonna have it. Yikes. Then she tried to smooth things over though by saying, "We were just joking around." Sure. Now, in 2014, Nicki hired Casper Smart to be the choreographer for her tour, as he also choreographed her Anaconda music video. But Casper is known for being one of J.Lo's ex-boyfriends, so this didn't sit too well. The following year, in 2015, before J.Lo hosted the AMAs, paparazzi spotted Nicki hanging out with Casper, and reportedly, J.Lo was not thrilled to see her ex hanging out with Nicki, per the Daily Mail. Now, when J.Lo opened the American Music Awards with a medley of songs, that included an excerpt from Nicki's song Anaconda. Now, Nicki didn't seem to be too happy about it. As the camera cut to Nicki, her face was emotionless. Well, at first, she and Jenna Dewan seemed to be getting along just fine when they both appeared on NBC's World of Dance. Now, the reality dance competition, which premiered in 2017, saw J-Lo taking on the role of executive producer and judge, while Jenna acted as a host and a mentor. Now, the pair, who are both dancers, never showed any signs of animosity on the small screen, but according to OK Magazine, the vibe was very different behind the scenes. Jenna can't stand Jen's over-the-top theatrical fakery, the outlet quotes an unnamed source as saying. Jen never fails to ham it up when the cameras are rolling and she hijacks the show. It seems she'd prefer if Jenna just stayed in the background. Every situation, even off camera, is micromanaged by J-Lo, and Jenna feels very excluded, they said. Then there's everything that happened with Mariah Carey. Mariah slams her ex-husband, Tommy Mottola, the then chairman and CEO of Sony Music Entertainment, accusing him of trying to ruin her career and getting Jennifer Lopez involved, per Hollywood Life. As the outlet notes, a 23-year-old Mariah married a 44-year-old Tommy in 1933, but divorced him in 1998 because he was controlling. She claimed that Tommy tried to sabotage the Glitter soundtrack, writing that her decision to sample Yellow Magic Orchestra's Firecracker on the movie's lead single, Loverboy, did not go unnoticed by Sony executives. She said that after hearing my new song, using the same sample I used, Sony rushed to make a single for another female entertainer on their label, whom I don't know. Yep, that's right, she went there. Rather than naming J-Lo in the allegation, Mariah reverted back to her infamous comment, "I don't know her." And you know what? I don't blame her for not knowing her, to be honest. Then another co-worker has spoken negatively about J-Lo and her behavior. Rosie Perez used to work with J-Lo as they met in 1991 during the open casting call for Fly Girl Dancers. Rosie was the show's Fly Girl choreographer and claims that she was the one who convinced host and creator Keenen Ivory Wayans to pick J-Lo. Now, J-Lo made her debut in September 1991, but she really didn't get along with her fellow dancers. Rosie then wrote about this in her 2014 memoir, revealing that hiring J-Lo was a mistake. All the girls were coming into my office complaining how she was manipulating wardrobe, makeup, and me all to her advantage, she said, saying that Jen thought the girls were just jealous. She went on to say that J-Lo dropped her sweet girl act and went off on her like some ghetto biatch, screaming and pounding her chest. Rosie claims she shouted, "You pick on me and only me every effing day, I work my off, deliver, and you keep pushing me aside, treating me like shh. I know I'm good, I'm better than any of these girls, and you know it." After being hurt by the alleged comments, Rosie was surprised when J-Lo was friendly to her at a nightclub years later. "Jennifer came over to me, smiling, saying hello as if nothing had happened. I should have let it go, played it off too. Instead, I killed her with biting my tongue," Rosie wrote. But Rosie later explained to Piers Morgan that tabloids made a feud between them a major thing when it wasn't. "I don't hate Jennifer Lopez, I have great respect for her," she said. "When I first saw her, I knew she was going to be a star. Yes, we had a tiff, and it was 20 years ago. It's unfortunate that the tabloids try to portray it as something that is current," she said. But regardless, Rosie had a past with J-Lo and wasn't afraid to call her out. And although J-Lo's short-lived marriage to Ojani Noah ended in 1998, it seems like her ex still can't stand her. Now, despite the fact that they were only married for 9 months, Noah has been trying to slander his former flame and keep his name in the news by any means possible. During a 2016 appearance on Million Dollar Matchmaker, he dumped blame on his former wife, saying she caused their split and claiming, "I was looking forward to being with her the rest of my life. It didn't happen. She made the choice of her career instead of me." Now, after Jen tied the knot with Ben Affleck in July 2022, Noah publicly spoke out about her marriage. "I wish her and Ben the best, but I'm not convinced it will last," he told the Daily Mail that month. "Jen loves being in love, but she's been engaged 6 times. Ben is husband number 4. I was husband number 1, and she told me I was the love of her life." Now, recently, he also took to social media to distance himself from any connection to Diddy's freak-off parties, but claimed that J-Lo was one of multiple celebrities present at them. While we do know that J-Lo has been to Diddy parties, as there's photographic evidence, there's been nothing official put out about her involvement in freak-offs. Now, in a post on Instagram, Noah shared a list of stars who've allegedly attended Diddy parties, one being J-Lo. "I'm not on the list," Noah captioned the post. To those people and media outlets asking if I ever went or participated in that piece of Diddy's freak-off parties, no and no. Never. But my ex-wife, Jennifer Lopez, aka J-Lo, did. Ask her.
Blake Lively, known for her role in the hit TV series Gossip Girl, faced significant backlash after making insensitive comments. Her remarks, which were perceived as dismissive and tone-deaf, sparked widespread outrage among fans and the general public. The controversy surrounding her statements led to the cancellation of several upcoming projects, including potential movie roles and brand endorsements. Additionally, her public image took a significant hit, as many fans expressed disappointment and withdrew their support. Doja Cat, once a rising star in the music industry, experienced a significant decline in popularity due to a series of controversies. Her online behavior, including insensitive comments and feuds with other celebrities, alienated many fans. One particularly controversial incident involved her wearing a t-shirt associated with a controversial internet figure, sparking widespread backlash and accusations of endorsing harmful ideologies. Additionally, Doja Cat's participation in online chat rooms with questionable content and her association with individuals accused of harmful behavior further damaged her reputation. While she has attempted to address some of these controversies and apologize for her past actions, the damage to her public image has been significant. As a result, she has faced a decline in fan support, fewer opportunities for collaborations, and a general loss of goodwill within the industry. Jonathan Majors, a rising star in Hollywood, faced significant career setbacks following a series of serious allegations. Jonathan Majors was arrested and charged after an aggressive dispute with his then-girlfriend. The incident led to a high-profile legal battle and intense public scrutiny. As a result of the allegations, Majors was dropped from several high-profile projects, including Marvel's highly anticipated film, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, where he was set to play a major villainous role.
You think you can beat me? I am king!
His removal from the project caused significant disruption to the film's production and marketing plans. The legal proceedings and negative publicity surrounding the allegations have had a devastating impact on Majors' career. His once promising trajectory has been derailed, and his future in Hollywood remains uncertain. The scandal serves as a stark reminder of the severe consequences that can arise from accusations of domestic violence and assault, even for those in the public eye. Lena Dunham, a prominent figure in the entertainment industry, faced considerable backlash due to controversial statements she made regarding abortion and sexual assault. Her remarks, which were perceived as insensitive and dismissive by many, alienated a significant portion of her fan base. The public outcry and negative press surrounding her statements led to a decline in her popularity and a significant impact on her career. Ultimately, the controversy contributed to the cancellation of her popular HBO show, Girls, which had been a critical and commercial success. Ellen DeGeneres. Hollywood is done with her, and she is done with Hollywood and America. This all happened after the show was canceled, and this was due to a toxic workplace culture. Numerous allegations surfaced about a toxic work environment on the set of her talk show. Former employees accused the show's producers of verbal abuse, intimidation, and racial discrimination. Public backlash. The allegations led to a significant public backlash, with many viewers and advertisers distancing themselves from the show. Loss of positive image. Ellen's once cherished image as a kind and compassionate host was tarnished by the negative publicity. Cancellation of the show. Due to the declining ratings and negative reputation, the Ellen DeGeneres show was ultimately canceled in 2022. Kanye West is up next on this list. He lost $1 billion and his family overnight. Once a beloved music icon, has seen his reputation plummet in recent years due to a series of increasingly erratic and offensive public behaviors. His controversial actions have led to the loss of numerous business partnerships and widespread public condemnation. West has exhibited increasingly erratic behavior, including public outbursts, unpredictable social media posts, and controversial appearances on various platforms. His unpredictable nature has alienated fans and made it difficult for brands and collaborators to work with him. Oprah Winfrey. Oprah is widely admired for her philanthropic efforts, her media empire, and her impact on popular culture. She has also faced criticism and negative opinions from some people. Also, her lack of authenticity. Some critics argue that Oprah's public persona is carefully crafted and not entirely authentic. They suggest that she is more interested in maintaining her image than in genuinely connecting with her audience. Justin Bieber's rise to fame was meteoric, but his career has been marked by a series of controversies. His public persona has often been characterized by erratic behavior, including outbursts, drug use, and legal troubles. These incidents have tarnished his image and alienated many fans. Some of the most notable controversies include his arrest for driving under the influence, vandalism, and assault. These incidents, coupled with his often erratic behavior in public, led to a decline in his popularity and a negative public perception. While Bieber has attempted to rehabilitate his image through music and public apologies, the damage to his reputation has been significant. Ezra Miller's once promising career has been significantly impacted by a series of highly publicized incidents. In recent years, Miller has been involved in multiple arrests and controversies, including allegations of assault, harassment, burglary, and disorderly conduct. These incidents have raised serious concerns about their mental health and ability to function in a professional capacity. The public scrutiny and negative press surrounding Miller have led to significant backlash and calls for their removal from high-profile projects. Warner Brothers, the studio behind the DC Extended Universe, has made efforts to address the situation, including delaying the release of The Flash and considering recasting the role.
No! What does that mean?
As a result of these controversies, Miller's future in Hollywood remains uncertain. The actor's career is currently on hold, and it remains to be seen whether they will be able to recover their reputation and return to the industry. Jason Aldean faced significant backlash in 2024 due to his controversial song Try That in a Small Town.
Try that in a small town.
The music video for this song, filmed in front of a courthouse with a history of racial injustice, sparked widespread criticism for its perceived pro-gun, pro-police, and anti-protest messaging. Many viewers interpreted the video as insensitive and racially charged, drawing comparisons to historical racial violence in the South. The controversy led to boycotts of Aldean's music, calls for his removal from radio playlists, and public condemnation from various organizations and individuals. The backlash also extended to the CMT Music Awards, where Aldean's performance of the song was met with mixed reactions and accusations of hypocrisy.
Now, starting off strong, we have Diddy. Now, the question is, what didn't he lie about this year?
Sean P. Diddy Combs has been arrested and indicted on federal charges.
Well, I'm going to talk about his incident with his ex, Cassie Ventura. Cassie came out with a lawsuit against Diddy for all the times he mistreated her and took advantage of her.
I think everybody's entitled to, having that moment, I guess.
In November of 2023, Cassie filed the lawsuit, and at the time she said, "After years in silence and darkness, I'm finally ready to tell my story and to speak up on behalf of myself and for the benefit of other women."
Cassie is finally speaking out following her allegations against Sean Diddy Combs.
With the expiration of New York's Adult Survivors Act fast approaching, it became clear that this was an opportunity to speak up about the trauma I have experienced and that I'll be recovering from for the rest of my life. Now, in the lawsuit, Cassie spoke of one specific incident that happened in a hotel hallway.
Surveillance footage from 2016 showing what appears to be Diddy violently assaulting then-girlfriend Cassie.
Now, Diddy and his team denied everything, saying that Cassie was just doing this to get a payday and that she was a liar. But less than 48 hours later, Diddy settled the case. He then added that he was committed to being a better man each and every day. Was this the truth though? No. It seemed like he was only apologizing because he got caught, not because he was actually sorry. Now, why is that? Well, this year there has been lawsuit after lawsuit against Diddy for mistreating both men and women the same way he did Cassie. And some of these incidents were recent too, dating back to 2022. Now, thankfully, after his so-called apology, people did not believe it and were disgusted with him. They criticized Diddy for only apologizing now that the evidence has finally come out. After all, it was alleged that he paid $50,000 to keep the CCTV footage from the incident. Now, Cassie's lawyers released a statement about his apology, saying it was more about himself than the many people he has hurt, which I have to agree with. This year, YouTubers Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, and KSI released a product that was a rival of Lunchables, which they called Lunchlies. Now, Lunchly came in 3 flavors: pizza, turkey stack'ems, and nachos. They all contain one of Mr. Beast's Feastable chocolate bars, along with a small bottle of Prime, Logan and KSI's hydration drink. Now, Lunchly was framed as a slightly healthier alternative to Lunchables when it first launched, but those claims were quickly challenged by creators Rosanna Pezzino and Dr. Mike. Now, other creators called them out, and there was a lot of back and forth between the trio defending their product, while others were dissing it. But the real controversy appeared when people were receiving their Lunchlies filled with mold. Now, part of the pitch for Lunchly was that the product is made with real cheese compared to the cheese product used in Lunchables. But at least Lunchables don't come with mold. When the product was released, many influencers made videos of them trying it, but a lot of them found out that theirs had mold. Some people were skeptical of this though and thought they were faking it, so they'd upload a video with no cuts of them buying Lunchly from the store and opening it up on camera, only to see that it was filled with mold. Logan and KSI have since acknowledged the backlash on the Impulsive podcast, but laughed off the mold claims as attempts to get views and clicks at their expense. Now, Mr. Beast has yet to publicly acknowledge the mold claims, but in a statement to the Daily Mail, Lunchly said, "All Lunchly products go through a stringent review process to ensure the quality and safety of its products. The process consists of multiple inspections and approvals, including that of the USDA, before any product can even leave the manufacturing facility. But something is definitely up, and all of them acting like nothing is wrong is messed up." Now, Justin Timberlake was arrested this summer for driving under the influence, which he claimed wasn't true. Authorities determined that the pop star was driving drunk though, as he had bloodshot, glassy eyes and a strong odor of alcoholic beverage emanating from his breath, according to the criminal complaint. Now, he also had slowed speech, was unsteady on his feet, and performed poorly on a field sobriety test, the complaint said. Justin told the arresting officer that he had only 1 drink, according to the complaint, but 1 drink doesn't do that to you, so he was definitely lying. Now, it's been said that several of Justin's friends came on the scene and tried to convince the cops to cut him a break, but they refused. Now, those so-called friends at the scene were no friends though if they let him drink and drive. So in the end, Justin was handcuffed and arrested, and the whole incident was recorded on a police officer's body cam. Now, all I gotta say is though, release the footage. Now, at the time of his arrest, Justin was quoted as saying, "This is going to ruin the tour," as he had been on tour in North America. Since then, Justin has pleaded not guilty to his charges, but from the sound of things, he put his and other people's lives in danger. Jennifer Lopez has been in a lot of hot water this year regarding her divorce with Ben Affleck, her association with Diddy, and her new projects that came out. Now, she first released her album This Is Me Now, which flopped on the music charts. She then made an experimental movie based on the album about her love for Ben, but it also flopped. I mean, no one wanted to be in it and no one wanted to produce it, so she spent $20 million of her own money. Then she made a documentary about both the album and the film called The Greatest Love Story Never Told, and let me just say, it didn't need to be told. We found out a lot about JLo that we didn't really need to know, but one moment that stood out was when she was talking about growing up in the Bronx. Now, viewers took to platforms like TikTok to mock her for being perceived as inauthentic and disconnected from the community she was trying to represent. In one scene, Jennifer poses in the mirror of her personal gym as she shakes out her hair and reminisces about her childhood in the Bronx. "I like taking my hair out like this. It reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx, running up and down the block, crazy little girl who used to be wild and no limits, all dreams," she said. However, a TikTok user, Photos by Angela, slammed the star in a series of videos as she claimed to have gone to the same Catholic high school as JLo and accused her of lying about her experiences living in the Bronx. She said, "We both attended an all-girls high school in an Irish and Italian neighborhood, so you weren't running up and down the block." Now, this isn't the first time that JLo's been called out for using the Bronx as something something that made her more personable. She was in a commercial in 2011 where she was seen driving a Fiat 500 Cabrio as she traveled through the streets of Manhattan to the Bronx, where she grew up. But the ad backfired when it was reported that she never actually went to the Bronx to film, and that a body double stand-in was used instead. And I mean, if you watch the ad knowing this information, it's pretty obvious. I mean, why not just ditch J-Lo and use another celebrity who would actually show up on set?
So Jennifer Lopez is notorious for stealing from other artists, and like, when you think about how many times she's stolen, it's actually kind of crazy. So let's go back in time, let's go through the timeline, folks. She caught her big break back in 1997, the year I was born, when she starred as the late Latin pop singer icon Selena in the biography of the same name. So after that, J-Lo ventured into music. Her demo was quickly picked up by music executive Tommy Mottola and Sony Music, and she dropped her debut album in summer of 1999. It was on the 6th, huge deal. This was only 2 years later, like, ooh. One big hit from the album, If You Had My Love, we all know it, we all love it. Now, this song, this is her first big hit, received backlash from R&B singer Shantae Moore. So Moore had a near identical song called If I Gave Love, which was recorded only a year prior in 1998. And both of these songs were written and produced by Rodney Jerkins. Now, it's been said that Jennifer Lopez's then boyfriend Puff Daddy pressured Jerkins to write a near identical song. And J-Lo's stealing only gets worse as time goes on. So here's the thing, using background vocals is not uncommon in the music industry. But the issue with J-Lo is that she's passed off a lot of these vocals from other singers as her own, which is essentially committing fraud. Songs like Play and the I'm Real remix feature prominent reference track vocals from Christina Milian and Ashanti. Jennifer and Ja Rule's music video for the I'm Real remix, yeah, it kind of was very obvious when J-Lo was reusing Ashanti's reference track vocals on the song and not her own, but passing them off as her own. She just left the demo vocals on the song and didn't credit anybody. She's also stolen, or at least attempted to steal, from artists like Usher, Brandy Norwood, Mariah Carey, and so many more. She's also been accused of lip syncing during live performances on many occasions. Let's see, what's a recent example? Ooh, 2021. A lot of folks took to social media during her American Music Awards performance to express their disappointment, because they're like, girl, your vocals are not matching the studio version of your song. Similar accusations surfaced in 2014 during her performance on American Idol, when people were like, girl, you're lip syncing, I lay a poppy. Forbes credits makeup artist Scott Barnes with creating the signature technique that became J-Lo's iconic glow, which was the preferred look of the early 2000s. And no folks, it was not olive oil, it was makeup. J-Lo and Scott worked together for like many years. He worked on Hustlers, he worked on the Halftime Show, like he's been by J-Lo's side since almost the beginning of her career. And while their working relationship and friendship spans 2 decades, there was a time when Scott didn't have J-Lo's love, and we need to talk about it. So he spilled the beans during an interview on the Jeff Probst show. So after rumors circulated that Barnes and a couple of others leaked plans of J-Lo and Mark Anthony's secret marriage, J-Lo's team shunned Barnes. He said nobody would talk to me. It was like I had some sort of disease. Now when the truth came out that obviously he did not leak the news, he didn't even know about the wedding ahead of time, he got a phone call, presumably from J-Lo, and he claimed, she said, it was like, hey, it was a big misunderstanding, you know, we have a lot of stuff coming up, and like I really miss you, so let's just get back to work. Now obviously he's been very diplomatic in his recounting of the temporary fallout, but it's clear that he never got like a direct apology for being shunned for no reason. And what's even more interesting is, considering the fact that the two quickly reconciled, he chose not to keep this story quiet, which means he's got something to say, which means I think there's more that needs to be talked about. So Jennifer Lopez faced backlash after revealing she was unhappy about sharing the stage with fellow iconic recording artist Shakira at the 2020 Super Bowl. The duo took the stage by storm at the iconic annual halftime show, with their history-making performance attracting tons of praise from fans and celebrities worldwide. But, and it's a big one, it turns out that despite the evident success of the joint performance, J-Lo wasn't really super-duper happy with the NFL's decision to have her and Shakira take the stage together, admitting in her Netflix documentary that she thought that it was the worst idea in the world. So shortly after those comments began hitting the internet, fans called her out for her entitled attitude, arguing that regardless of the time constraints, the duo put on an iconic show. Speaking of J-Lo and her documentaries, if you didn't know, earlier this year, she released this documentary on Amazon Prime called This Is Me Now, A Love Story, which gave a behind-the-scenes look into her album, This Is Me Now, and the accompanying movie, The Greatest Love Story Never Told. I know, It's a lot. It all came out around the same time. And a lot of folks who watched it were like, hey, not to fact check, but you lied a little bit. So in one scene, J-Lo poses in the mirror of her personal gym. She's shaking out her hair and she's talking about her upbringing. When I like taking out my hair like this, it reminds me like when I was in the Bronx, running up and down the block. Crazy girl who used to be wild and no limits, all dreams. However, folks, and this is where the fact checking comes in, TikTok user Photos by Angela slammed J-Lo in a series of videos because she's like, oh no, I went to the same Catholic high school as Jennifer, and accused J-Lo of lying about her experience living in the Bronx. She said, we attended this all-girls school in an Irish and Italian neighborhood. You weren't running up and down the block. And we're not done with the lies yet, folks. So remember earlier when I talked about the stealing and the music? So J-Lo's been accused of not actually singing on her albums, and somebody else has something to say about it. Singer Natasha Ramos took to TikTok to shed some light. Now she has a voice that's very similar to J-Lo's, and she was hired to sing on the demo of Jenny from the Block. And the production team liked her voice so much that they asked her to record 5 more songs for the album This Is Me Then, including the single I'm Glad. Now Natasha received $3,500, a backup singer's credit, but as she claims and as the original demo demonstrates, it's her voice on the final track. And we're not just talking the choruses, it's her laugh, it's her yelling from the Bronx. It's technically her song. So what isn't J-Lo telling us? Going back to that old boyfriend, Puff Daddy. Well, that whole arrest on racketeering and things I can't say and we can't talk about and can't show has obviously sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Everybody is turning the spotlight on his infamous past parties because they were the place to be for 20 years. And as the scandal unfolds, a lot of celebrities once linked to his star-studded events have noticeably remained silent. Now, in the midst of all of this, there's been a photo from the 4th of July party in the year 2000 that's caused some buzz. So it's a big group photo. We've got him in a bed with J-Lo, Aaliyah, Andre Harrell, Natanya Adcock, Damon Dash, and almost everybody's dressed in white, so I guess it was a white party as well, minus Puff Daddy, J-Lo, and Natanya. So there's some intrigue here. And then there's another photo. Just J-Lo and Puffy, once again, cuddled up on this oversized bed with white pillows that I wouldn't want to take a black light within 20 feet of. And a lot of people are calling the music industry and the Hollywood industry out after seeing that first group photo, because we all remember Aaliyah, right? Her story that I can't talk about. So somebody said, poor Aaliyah dealing with all of the icky people she dealt with. She was so vulnerable and unprotected. She was in the wrong spaces. The industry was so cruel to her. Like, when you look at the photos, sure, yeah, they look like just a fun romp, a fun little party, a little Hollywood moment. But now when you look at all the context, all the things that have happened or allegedly happened over the years, obviously people are going to talk about it. And also, people want to know, why is J-Lo being silent? Like, maybe she was left traumatized during her time with Puff Daddy. But somebody else was like, hey, maybe that's why none of her marriages have lasted long, because she's traumatized from what happened. So she only dated Puff Daddy for like 2 years. They dated from 1999 to 2001, and apparently they had a roller coaster of a relationship. It was one for the history books at the turn of the century, but apparently it was super duper turbulent.
Katherine Heigl can brag about anything. It's a knack for drumming up boatloads of bad press. There are so many articles dedicated solely to expressing hatred for her. Hollywood insiders have accused her of creating difficult situations, and the story seems to check out. After working with the actor on Grey's Anatomy, Shonda Rhimes now uses Heigl as shorthand for troublesome talent. There are no Heigls in this situation, she told The Hollywood Reporter in 2014 while fondly describing the cast of Scandal. She went on to further say, I don't put up with bullcrap or nasty people, I don't have time for it. Heigl's bad reputation stems largely from her decision to decline a second Emmy nomination for Grey's Anatomy in 2008. She released a wince-inducing public statement that claimed she simply wasn't given the material this season to warrant an Emmy nomination. Then the actress goes into overdrive saying, in an effort to maintain the integrity of the Academy organization, I withdrew my name from contention. It was also reported that Heigl will occasionally disparage her own film, saying of the film Knocked Up, where she stars with Seth Rogen, that it was hard for her to love the movie. She acknowledged that she may have something of an image problem and she needs to get a little more settled in her own skin. There's also been so many reports of her on-set behavior. Many have said that she's just difficult and rude on set, including allegations of tardiness, moodiness, and even disagreements with directors and co-stars. Heigl, of course, has denied some of these incidents and has spoken publicly about the challenges of being a woman in Hollywood. Next up, we have Kanye West. Dissecting Kanye Kanye's arrogance could swallow your whole day, basically. Magazines like Time have dedicated entire features to cataloging the prolific exploits of his ego. Kanye has been involved in numerous controversies and incidents that have led many to perceive him as rude or egotistical, and there's so many moments to choose from, but the one I know you know is coming is, of course, storming the stage at the 2009 MTV VMAs, when West interrupted Taylor Swift's acceptance speech, grabbing the mic and shouting, "I'm sorry, but Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time." In 2015, West actually walked on stage again at the Grammys, this time as Beck accepted his award for Best Album, appearing to protest the decision. And let's not forget the time West abruptly paused his interview with Conan O'Brien because he had to use the bathroom really bad. In 2013, West engaged in a heated Twitter exchange with the late night talk show host Jimmy Kimmel, who had spoofed West's interview with BBC Radio 1. West also has an ongoing feud with rapper and singer Drake, with the two of them engaging in a series of diss tracks. Kanye West had shown just how egotistical he really is when he compared himself to Steve Jobs and Michael Jackson. He declared himself as the greatest artist of all time, with more innovative genius in him than anyone else on the planet. That is like such a reach, my gosh. Another incident is when West used a wheelchair as a prop during a concert, which of course sparked criticism from disability advocates. So, while West's behavior has undoubtedly been polarizing, it is worth noting that he has also been praised for his artistry, entrepreneurial spirit, and social justice causes. If he could just tone his ego down a notch, that would be great. Up next, we have Jennifer Lopez, and considering the mountain of claims against her over the years, this shouldn't actually be a surprise. She's faced a lot of criticism and accusations of being rude or diva-like over the years, and in a notorious 1998 interview, a motormouth Jennifer Lopez said of Madonna, "Do I think she's a great performer? Yeah. Do I think she's a great actress? No. Acting is what I do, so I'm harder on people when they say, oh, I can do that, I can act. I'm like, hey, don't spit on my craft." This is so funny coming from JLo, because anyone who's ever caught a screening of Geely knows that Lopez is like a nuanced performer who lacks depth and will likely never see an Oscar with her name on it in her lifetime, or even our lifetime. Now, her rudeness isn't solely reserved for wealthy entertainers though. She's also allegedly unpleasant with people who work in service positions. In 2012, an emotionally wounded flight attendant contacted the press about his interaction with Lopez. He said that he asked her, "What can I get you to drink?" But Jennifer refused to even acknowledge him. She turned her head away, looked at someone else, actually went to her personal assistant and said, "Please tell him I'd like a Diet Coke and a lime." She wouldn't even look at him. He went on to say it was sad because, she seemed so sweet in her movies. That's why it's called acting, honey. But there's been so many reports of Lopez being demanding and difficult to work with on film and music sets. She allegedly had a trailer with specific requirements, including a particular type of toilet paper. A lot of former employees and assistants have come forward with claims of being treated so poorly by Lopez, including being yelled at or belittled. And JLo has also been known to have a very long list of demands for events and appearances, including specific lighting, sound, and even furniture requirements, like every piece of furniture needs to be white. For some reason, the media has often portrayed Lopez as a diva or a demanding celebrity, which may have perpetuated the public's perception of her as rude, but if you give them nothing to write about, then you won't be written about. Isn't that the rule? So I think she gives too many opportunities to be talked about, and maybe that's what she wants, so who knows. To play devil's advocate for a second, she does have a strong personality, confidence, and high standards, which may have been interpreted as rudeness or diva-like behavior, but I still think she'd benefit from humbling herself a little bit, especially since her latest marriage has failed yet again. Adam Levine is up next. The Maroon 5 frontman wants to set the record straight. He told GQ in 2014, "I'm not arrogant, I'm cocky, it's different. Cocky is playful. I'm confident. Some people don't like confidence, they resent confidence." In fact, Levine is so confident he reportedly actually felt within his rights to tell GQ journalist Jessica Pressler how to frame her article about him. He said, "You know what the gist of this article is? is, your opening line can be, "You don't have to like me, but I'd prefer it if you did." He also made a statement to the Boston Globe back in 2007 that said, "You wouldn't be a complete band without a slightly cocky frontman, would you?" And if you're wondering how anyone could be this full of themselves, you've fallen right into Levine's trap, because he said in an interview a few years ago that he loves attention and he can't stand not having it. Adam has been known to lash out at fans, critics, and even his own bandmates during live performances. He also made public comments criticizing other musicians, including his fellow voice judge Christina Aguilera. His reaction to a fan jumping on stage to give him a hug went absolutely viral because of his dismissive and repulsed reaction. Many said he treated the fan like she was beneath him, and he went on to share an apology video, but that also didn't really sit that well with people either. Almost every interview he has done, he has come across as arrogant, dismissive, or uninterested, which definitely rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. He actually even got into a public feud with the late comedian Joan Rivers, who criticized him for being rude and arrogant. Now, Adam has faced a bunch of criticism online for posting about social justice issues while also promoting his own products and services. Every time he is called out for his behavior, he has responded defensively or dismissively, which may have further fueled the perception that he's rude. One critic online shared a story and said, "Someone I know met Adam Levine backstage and was mad because he told Adam, 'You guys are good.' Adam said, 'I know,' and walked off." I think Adam forgets that without his fans, he wouldn't have made it this far. I think he needs maybe 3 slices of humble pie. That's probably in order for this pop star. Next, we have Blake Lively, who has been in the spotlight recently for all the drama surrounding her movie with Justin Baldoni, It Ends With Us, and the alleged inappropriate behavior from her co-star on and off set. In case you've somehow missed it, to give you a little context, Blake Lively filed a lawsuit against Justin, accusing him of harassment and attempting to damage her reputation. The lawsuit alleges that Baldoni engaged in inappropriate behavior on set. Lively claims that she reported these incidents to the film's producers and requested safeguards to ensure a safe working environment. However, she alleges that Baldoni and his team launched a smear campaign against her, attempting to portray her as difficult to work with and damaging her reputation. Unfortunately for Blake, however, her reputation has been damaged a long time ago. She's faced many accusations of being rude or entitled over the years, and there's been several rumors of Lively being extremely difficult on set, including allegations that she's always late to show up, she's moody, and makes ridiculous excessive demands. During her time on Gossip Girl, it was reported that she had feuds with Leighton Meester and Penn Badgley. Now, she's also given many interviews where she comes across as arrogant and entitled, and apparently she is super dismissive and unfriendly to fans who have approached her for autographs or photos. She seems to present a very perfect, polished image on social media, which many have looked at as unrelatable and just fake. One fan took to social media to share a story about Blake Lively, and she wrote, "My boyfriend works in the movie studios and concerts where we live and has done small to major movies and met some pretty big movie stars because of it. The worst person he's ever had to deal with was Blake Lively. He said she was the most entitled, snobbiest, and rudest person to deal with. She threw tantrums on set, and she treated literally every single person like a POS, except for the director." A journalist called out Blake Lively for a 2016 interview that she's now referring to as the most uncomfortable interview situation she has ever experienced. But a source close to the actress says the exchange was sparked by the journalist's rude statement to Lively. Now, this Norwegian reporter, Kirsty Flott, uploaded a 4-minute interview with Lively to YouTube titled "The Blake Lively Interview That Made Me Want to Quit My Job." The viral video shows Lively and Cafe Society co-star Parker Posey speaking with Flott for a discussion on the Woody Allen film back in 2016. Flott wrote in the video's description, "Sitting down with Blake Lively and her co-star Parker Posey for Cafe Society is the most uncomfortable interview situation I have ever experienced. Is it not okay to congratulate someone on their pregnancy or to ask another woman about costume she's wearing in a film? Let me know what you think in the comments." Now, to give you some context to this, at the beginning of the clip, Flott congratulated Lively on her little bump. She was pregnant at the time. The interview was filmed actually around the time Lively was pretty far along with her and Ryan Reynolds' daughter Inez, who was born actually on September 30th, 2016, a few months just after Cafe Society opened in theaters. Now, Lively responded by saying the same to Flaw. She said, "Congrats on your little bump." Now, after Lively and Posey had a side chat about Lovely Lady Lumps, the reporter told the pair she thought the film was visually amazing before asking about their costumes. She said, "Did you guys like wearing those clothes?" Flaw asked. "Everyone wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes as well." Lively asked Posey before Flaw responded with, "I would." Without responding to Flaw directly, Lively then continued talking to her co-star about the outfits worn by the men starring in the film. She said, "It's not just the women that have the clothes, but I feel like the women get the conversation." There were definitely mixed reactions from fans and critics, with one person saying, "You're a female journalist in Hollywood interviewing a working mom, and you can't come up with anything better to kick off the interview with than congrats on your little bump." Of course Blake got annoyed. But another person said if Blake thinks that was such a rude comment and justified her horrid behavior, she reeks of privilege and snobbery. Now, personally, I don't see why Blake was so offended, and to me, it's never that serious. Her response and attitude came off, really unprofessional and just passive-aggressive, unnecessary, and uncalled for.
Back in 2009, the singer went into a chain restaurant in New York City looking for a burger. After she ordered, the clerk asked for her name so he could call it out when the burger was ready, to which Miley allegedly became frustrated and said, "Are you serious? You don't recognize me? I am Miley Cyrus." While we're not exactly sure what kind of reaction she wanted from him, she was obviously upset that the clerk didn't fall to his knees or jump for joy. Being a celebrity obviously has its perks, so when famous people get treated like everyone else, they usually don't like it. But Miley has actually been called out for her behavior in public before. At the world premiere of Avengers Endgame in April of 2021, there was a viral video that went around which showed her physically pushing Liam Hemsworth away. While she was on the red carpet, he was getting annoyed at her for trying to get a funny picture licking his face. He then becomes frustrated and says, "Can't you just behave for once?" In response, she pushes him aside and poses for pictures all on her own. At the time, she was heavily criticized for embarrassing Liam at the premiere for his older brother's movie. Number 9, Gwyneth Paltrow. She's definitely one of the first celebrities that comes to mind when you think of the word arrogant. Even before she tried to become a lifestyle guru, she made it clear a long time ago just how out of touch she is with regular people. Gwyneth once made an entire population of working mothers angry when she said, "It's much harder for me. I think to have a regular job and to be a mom is not as, of course there are challenges, but it's not like being on set." Not only that, but in 2009 she was quoted saying, "I am who I am. I can't pretend to be someone who makes $25,000 a year." And let's not forget all the drama with the Goop Lab, which is just another way for Gwyneth to push her so-called healthy lifestyle onto regular people, where she posts must-have outfits that cost hundreds if not thousands of dollars, and tries to frame it as a necessity. Her website was also heavily criticized for promoting questionable things like sprays and crystals that are meant to prevent mental manipulation by people, not to mention potentially dangerous supplements that were marketed to pregnant women. So it's no surprise that she actually earned the top spot in Star's 2013's Most Hated Celebrity list. Number 8, Justin Bieber. As the singer's fame grew, so did his attitude and his sense of entitlement. The once teenage heartthrob shocked the internet in 2013 while he was in Amsterdam visiting the hiding place of Anne Frank, which has since been turned into a museum. Justin opened himself up to ridicule and online anger when he wrote in the Anne Frank house guest book that it was truly inspiring to be able to come here and that Anne was a great girl. But he also said that he hoped she would have been a believer. The comments were insensitive at best, and it sounded like he believed Anne Frank would have been his devoted fan had she not died as a teenager in a concentration camp. Not only that, but he's also thought himself above the law on several occasions and is known for his atrocious behavior in public. Justin's been in trouble with the cops for things like graffiti spraying, egg throwing, and causing disturbances to his neighbors. Not only that, but in a 2013 Billboard interview, he said, "Don't say I'm not talented. If you haven't noticed, I wasn't made, I was found." Number 7, Adam Levine. Back in a 2014 interview with GQ magazine, the singer addressed his reputation as a bit of an egomaniac. He said, "I'm not arrogant, I'm cocky. It's different. Cocky is playful." But if you want to know what's really obnoxious, let's take a look at his tone-deaf comments about infidelity in 2009, when he said, "I have cheated, and you know what? There is nothing worse than the feeling of doing it." So apparently it's not hard for the people that are getting cheated on, only for the people that are cheating. And knowing what we know now, that quote hasn't aged well at all. Then in 2021, a TikTok went viral of him going off on a fan for coming on stage. The incident happened during a Maroon 5 performance while Adam was belting out their 2004 hit Sunday Morning. It was then that an overly eager fan suddenly rushed to the stage and reached for him. The video shows that security quickly grabbed the woman and pulled her away from Adam, who was seen cursing, shuddering, and shaking off the experience before getting right back into the music. Many fans were offended by his visceral reaction and suggested that he should really humble himself and remember that Maroon 5 is only successful because of the fans. Number 6, Vanessa Hudgens. The High School Musical star made some pretty controversial comments, complaining about having to quarantine during the start of the pandemic. During an Instagram live, Vanessa shocked her fans with her lack of compassion when she said, "Yeah, till July sounds like a bunch of BS. I'm sorry. It's a virus, I get it, I respect it, but at the same time, even if everybody gets it, yeah, people are gonna die, which is terrible, but like inevitable." Saying this in a seemingly smug way created a massive backlash, considering many people in her age group weren't listening to health officials at the time. Not only that, but she seemed very nonchalant about the fact that a lot of people were going to be affected. Naturally, her tone-deaf comments got her slammed across social media, with Olivia Wilde tweeting, "In 1,000 years, they'll dig up our society and find this precious digital moment and be like, okay, this is why they mysteriously disappeared from the earth." Vanessa, of course, tried to apologize and play the whole thing off as a misunderstanding, but it will forever go down as one of her most ignorant moments. Number 5, Catherine Zeta-Jones. Most people wouldn't think of the actress as arrogant, but her history says otherwise. Back in 1998, while attending a special screening of The Mask of Zorro, an 8-year-old girl reportedly went up to Catherine and asked her for some advice on acting. Catherine allegedly looked her up and down and said, "You're pretty enough, I suppose," before turning back to her conversation. In 2003, she was quoted saying, "$1 million isn't a lot of money for people like us." She said, "Some people collect art or lots of money. We collect houses, because if we have to look at something, we prefer the view." She went on to say, "The worst thing about having all these houses is that when I have an outfit and I think it's going to look great with a certain pair of shoes, I remember that they're in some place that I'm not, so that's why I have to buy duplicates."